Thank you. And thank you all for coming and for giving us a little glimpse into the issues that you work on and that you are passionate about. Um, it's it's always great to see young people that are engaged. So, and we hear so often that young people don't want to be engaged, and I think you are the epitome of what is great about America. Each of your stories are phenomenal. I want to give a shout out to Rachel. I am an IBW member myself. You go, girl. And when I started in the IBW, there was a real lack of diversity in the union hall. I think I was the only woman on staff that wasn't like clerical staff, and we had no Spanish-speaking organizers on staff. Which, if you, when I would go out to non-union work sites, the majority of the work was being done by in Southern California area non-English speakers. What are some of the ways that you are finding to engage young union members and increase the diversity within union halls? Because I personally think the apprenticeship programs that are offered are one of the best kept secrets. And to that end, we do how to prepare your kid for college seminars in my district, but we also do great careers that don't require a 4-year degree. And I always invite the union apprenticeship programs to come and talk about that. And it opens up a whole world of opportunity for kids that might not have known about them. What do you do to try to get the word out about those apprenticeship programs and to try to help diversify those union halls?
Well, thank you for that question. We try to meet young people where they are. A lot are in school. A lot are in, I would say, places that young people hang out. So through our Renew groups or chapters, groups have been able to go into high schools, first educate the high school guidance counselors about the value of apprenticeship, and then actually talk one-on-one with young people about why this is a viable career choice. Something too about young millennials, they are not as weighted down by the isms as past generations. So diversity is something that is part of their mantra or their personal mission. So that is not such as an issue with them. Something that I'm trying to encourage our more mature members who are more traditionalist is that as a retired member, you're going to need 2 active members to keep you going. So we need to bridge that intergenerational gap, and it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
Excellent. My second question is for William. I think you really touched my heart when you talked about the fact that veterans are willing to sacrifice to provide opportunities for the next generation. And what do you think is sort of the key to trying to assist veterans in, getting into great paying careers? I know there are a number of obstacles, and I know, GI Bill was intended to try to help them get college education, but what are some of the barriers in terms of, assisting young veterans on a career path?
Thank you for the question, Congresswoman. I would say there's a clear lack of understanding about who this population is when they leave service. I think that's the number one thing that people need to think about. In fact, 2/3 of individuals that go to school right out of service are first generation college students. They're not growing up with their parents telling them about Pell Grants and the FAFSA form, anything that is kind of taken for granted by a lot of others, I think. So taking that into account and also understanding that they don't have their high school guidance counselor to lean on. They're not going back to their high school with, sitting next to an 11th grader asking, how can I pursue school? So it's a completely different approach. And when they go to school, they're trying to find, what are my opportunities? A big part of what we try to do is help them understand where they want to end up, to your point about getting a great career and connecting those dots and doing the back planning on that, helping them to make an informed decision on where they go to school so they don't end up at a predatory school that's just looking to take advantage of their GI Bill, which unfortunately we see all too often. A lot of those schools end up either closing or leaving the veteran with nothing to take advantage of. Corinthian and ITT Tech were good examples of those. So trying to help them become informed decision makers is a huge component of it. And that doesn't happen in the last 2 or 3 days as they leave service. You can't possibly expect someone to learn 20 plus years of institutional and societal knowledge in 2 or 3 days in the transition assistance program. In fact, the fact that DOD's even owning that is frankly kind of confusing, because as they see them for 2 or 3 days, it's the rest of their life we should be concerned about. And that's flips over to the Department of Veterans Affairs. So I think linking those pieces together, again, making sure that they're informed consumers is a huge piece of it.
Thank you, and thank you for your service. And then lastly, just a quick comment to Louisa. I wish I could take what you said about SBDCs and send it to every small business in my district, because we try to connect small businesses with SBDCs, which I think do a tremendous job at no cost to small business owners to try to help them really thrive and succeed. So thank you for your entrepreneurial spirit and for your kind comments about how helpful SBDC has been for you. With that, I yield back.